I am from the mountains of western North Carolina. I am from a faded barn and a field that sits on a hill. I am from a grandfather, Papaw, as I called him, from whom I learned much about life. I am from a brick house right next to his. A walk across the yard was all it took. I am from days spent with my best friend, which he was to me for so long. I am from moments of laughter from his funny jokes. I am from, "Give me some sugar and hug my neck." I am from apple trees and cool afternoons spent on the front porch with him. I am from chicken and a biscuit crackers, smack cereal, and peaches, which were his favorite. I am from a trout fisherman and lover of basketball. I am from hard-working hands grown crippled from years of arthritis. I am from a ragged Bible falling apart because of its use. I am from moments of sadness as I watched him slowly fade those last few years. I am from visits to the nursing home. I hated seeing him there. I am from tears shed as I clung to his hand one last time. I am from my Papaw. Growing up with my Nana, I had pancakes every Saturday morning I spent with her. She would use buttermilk, so they were the really good ones that tasted like heaven. She would gently wake me and say, "Pancakes are ready, baby girl. Come on and eat." I loved waking up to that. Growing up with my Nana, we would go on what she called Mother Earth walks. This was when we went around the neighborhood picking up litter from trashy people, as she called them. We are helping the earth, as she would put it. I loved those walks. Growing up with my Nana, I would have plenty of jumpers and dresses to wear that she would sew for me. Scrappy, as she called me, because I was so small, she made most of my dresses from fabric scraps. Growing up with my Nana, I knew not to even mention the word snake. She would scream just hearing it. "I hate them old ugly things," she would snarl. She had told me of the time her brother wrapped her up in a blanket with a woolly worm when she was a kid, and ever since she has hated anything that slithers. Growing up with my Nana, we would have gardening days on some of our weekends spent together. Her green thumb always made everything grow. Sunflowers were my favorite. I still remember the summer they grew taller than me. They were nearly as beautiful as her sweet spirit. Growing up with my Nana, I certainly had love. Dear Dad, you told me once that I've always looked to you as Superman. No red cape and no flat ability, though you tried once when you were little and nearly broke your arm, as Nana told me. But you have been much more than a momentary rescuer for me. You have been and still are so many things for me. Advice giver, tooth puller, hand holder, role model, bicycle steadier, so I could lose those training wheels, math tutor, strong leader, comforter, forehead filler, cool as a cucumber, you'd say, funny, smart, gentle, strict, protector. Wear your hood, you would tell me when it was cold out. None of these will give you a cool uniform or fame, but you are right. You are Superman to me. No-bake cookies recipe. Ingredients: 2 cups of sugar, a half a cup of milk, 1 stick of butter, a fourth a cup unsweetened cocoa powder, 3 cups old-fashioned rolled oats, 1 cup smooth peanut butter, 1 tablespoon pure vanilla extract, and a large pinch of salt. Directions. Step 1. Line a baking sheet with wax paper or parchment. Step 2. Bring the sugar, milk, butter, and cocoa to a boil in a medium saucepan over medium heat, stirring occasionally, then let boil for 1 minute. I sit on the bar stool watching you stir the ingredients together. I can smell it already. The sweet scent of cocoa fills the room. Step 3. Remove from the heat. Add the oats, peanut butter, vanilla, and salt, and stir to combine. They are my favorite, but you know that. You look back at me and smile. Is it ready yet? I ask impatiently. Almost, you reply. We have to spoon them out to shape the cookies. I walk over to you to help you finish stirring. Step 4. Drop teaspoonfuls of the mixture onto the prepared baking sheet and let sit at room temperature until cooled and hardened, about 30 minutes. We spoon the cookies out onto the wax paper on the countertop. You laugh, saying my spoonfuls are going to make monster cookies. Can I lick the bowl now? I ask. You knew my familiar question was coming. Of course, you answer. Hello? I answered, figuring it was our normal weekly conversation. I remember that phone call like a branding burned into my memory. I could tell she was crying when I answered the phone. I thought someone had died at first, but I think this was worse. Kristen, I've got something to tell you, my mother spoke through her tears. My heart began to race as I thought about my dad, my papa, my sister. Who was the source of her pain for this call? Before I could even utter the words, Kristen, Katie confessed to us today that she's been using drugs for a while now and has become addicted to meth. My heart sank so deep I thought I would have to pick it up off of the floor. How could my sister do this? The thought of my niece immediately entered my mind. What about Maddie? I thought. I felt sick. How could this have happened? As I sat in my dorm room, I began to sob. What is she going to do? I asked my mom. So many questions were racing through my mind. I don't even know if the words actually came out. We have Maddie and are going to be taking care of her. We are going to try to get Katie some help, my mother replied. I hung up the phone and began to pray. I got out my Bible and searched through passages of Scripture to bring comfort. I cried myself to sleep as my lingering prayers faded.